Welcome to Canerica's podcast, The Digital Shift. We are cutting straight to the heart of enterprise inefficiency today. I'm talking about that costly, sometimes crippling reliance on outdated business intelligence systems. This deep dive is all about understanding BI modernization, not just, as some IT project, but really as the central strategic move for competitive survival.
That's absolutely right. We want to give you a clear roadmap today for understanding this whole modernization journey. And maybe let's start with the elephant in the room. Why are companies making this massive shift right now?
Yeah, the pressure point seems really clear. It's those maintenance costs.
Yeah,
We looked at some high-value content, and it suggests that an astonishing 80% of enterprise IT spending, well, it currently goes toward merely maintaining legacy systems.
80%.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's not money for growth.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
innovation.
No, it's the cost of basically standing still.
Exactly. And when, 4 out of 5 of your IT dollars are just keeping the lights on, there's really nothing left. No budget to innovate or even just respond quickly to market changes. The promise of modernization is, well, it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Move from those environments where it takes days, sometimes weeks, to manually pull together a report,
Oh, I know that pain.
right? To platforms that deliver sophisticated, actionable insights in essentially real time. We're really talking about agility here.
That's the goal. So let's maybe define the pain a bit more. What are listeners likely feeling right now with these old systems?
Well, the core pain comes from this mismatch
Yeah.
right, between the old tools and what businesses actually need today. Those legacy BI platforms, they were mostly built for batch processing, fixed reporting structures.
Very rigid.
Very rigid. They weren't designed for today's cloud data warehouses. They definitely struggle with real-time dashboards, and they certainly weren't set up for, genuine self-service analytics.
I remember having to put in an IT ticket just to change a column header in a report. It felt less like self-service, more like IT servitude, honestly. And beyond just the frustration, there's a technical dead end too, isn't there? Performance slows right down as data volumes grow.
Dramatically. And compliance becomes a real headache. Plus, the clock is ticking, particularly for organizations relying on tools that are nearing end of life. I mean, when older versions of systems like, say, SQL Server Reporting Services reach end of support, the shift to more robust, flexible tools like Power BI or Microsoft Fabric isn't just nice to have, becomes pretty much mandatory.
Okay, so if BI modernization is this upgrade to cloud-based platforms, what does that practically mean for the average business user day to day?
It means empowerment, really. The main goal is to put the analytic power directly into the hands of the people who need it most, the business users themselves. They should be able to answer their own complex questions and do it in minutes, not days waiting for IT. This cuts reporting time drastically and, crucially, it lowers the total cost of ownership because you're eliminating all those constant IT support requests.
And the ROI figures really back this up. The content we looked at shows a phenomenal average return on investment, $13.01 for every single dollar spent on analytics. That's an incredible multiplier.
It really is.
What's driving that huge return? Is it just about being more efficient?
It's a combination, speed and quality. The efficiency gains are massive, absolutely. But the real value, I think, is in the decisions themselves. When you move from making decisions based on data that's maybe a week old to using instant, accurate insights, you reduce risk, you can seize those fleeting opportunities faster, optimize spending immediately. That ability to course correct in near real time, that's what justifies that $13 return.
Okay, that ROI certainly gets your attention. But the transformation itself, it has to be structured, right? You can't just throw money at the cloud and, hope for the best. What are the essential components? Maybe like 5 key things that define a successful modernization journey.
Yeah, we can definitely break the execution down. There are 5 sort of non-negotiable pillars. The first one, and arguably it's the most important, is unifying data sources. Most organizations have data scattered everywhere. Sales, finance, HR, supply chain, dozens of systems, right? Data silos.
Yeah.
You absolutely must consolidate that information, get it into a single source of truth, which is often a cloud data warehouse or maybe a data lakehouse.
And if you don't unify, well, that's when you run into that nightmare scenario, isn't it? Conflicting reports, 2 departments with different revenue numbers for the same quarter.
Leading to boardroom debates instead of actual decisions.
That's
Exactly.
right.
So once you've unified the data, the next logical step, the second pillar, is creating validation processes for data quality.
Ah, yes. Garbage in, garbage out.
Precisely. You don't want to just import bad habits into your shiny new system. The focus has to be on things like automated checks, duplicate detection, standardization. Look, if you build a beautiful cloud dashboard, but the data underneath is faulty, Trust just collapses. Nobody uses the system. Clean data is absolutely the bedrock of confidence.
Makes total sense. Okay, so we've got the data secured, we've cleaned it up. The third pillar, though, that brings the human element back in, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have all the automated reports in the world.
But if the teams can't actually use them or don't trust them, you fail. This is pillar 3, adopting data-led approaches with human expertise. It's partly about training, sure. Data literacy is critical now, but frankly, it's not just IT's job anymore. This is a fundamental business requirement. Companies need cross-functional teams who can blend the automated findings with their own industry expertise to interpret those metrics correctly. The best tech is useless if the user feels intimidated by it.
I really appreciate that focus on the people side. It's often overlooked. Okay, moving to pillar 4. This sounds like where the immediate time savings really kick in.
That's automating data reporting. Just think about the hundreds, maybe thousands of hours wasted weekly on manual report generation in large companies. Automated systems don't just generate scheduled updates. Good ones implement sophisticated alert systems, flagging anomalies or unusual patterns instantly. We see automation achieving savings of up to 70% on just those routine reporting tasks.
70%. Wow, that's huge. But that level of automation, it needs a fundamentally different kind of architecture to support it, I imagine. Which leads us to the final pillar.
Precisely. Pillar 5 is updating data architecture, infrastructure, security, and storage. This is really the move to cloud-native solutions for that ultimate scalability. When we talk about cutting-edge solutions like Microsoft Fabric, for example, we're discussing a unified platform, one that handles data integration, warehousing, analytics, all pretty seamlessly. And this also embeds robust security from the ground-up encryption, role-based access control, built-in compliance features needed for today's regulations like GDPR or IPA.
Okay, let's focus on the payoff then. If an organization successfully executes on those 5 pillars, the immediate result you mentioned is faster decision-making. Being able to instantly adjust pricing or optimize inventory, maybe pivot a digital campaign, instead of waiting for that monthly review meeting.
And that speed, it translates directly to the bottom line. It is the definition of competitive advantage today. High-performance, data-driven organizations are statistically 23 times more likely to acquire customers.
23 times.
And 6 times more likely to retain them. Their ability to leverage predictive analytics means they're often anticipating market shifts, not just reacting weeks later.
The benefits are incredibly compelling, but the execution of that technical shift, that's where I think most large organizations really stumble. The biggest hurdle, and this is something we at Canerica understand intimately, is that manual migration process itself. It can be terrifying, honestly, because of the sheer complexity of moving years and years of embedded business logic.
This is exactly where we at Canerica step in. As a certified Microsoft Data and AI Solutions partner, we bring deep expertise in Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, and the whole suite of Azure data services. We focused our innovation specifically on eliminating the primary risks of migration. How? By developing our own AI-driven migration accelerators.
So you're not just like manually rebuilding reports one by one, you're actually translating that complex, often custom-built business logic automatically.
Absolutely. Our accelerators allow us to support a smooth and crucially accurate migration from major legacy systems. We're talking about tools like Tableau, Crystal Reports, Cognos, even complex older SSRS reports, migrating them directly to the modern Power BI environment. We automate the conversion of visualizations, the underlying queries, the complex calculations, essentially taking the pain and a huge amount of the risk out of that whole lift and shift process.
Let's dig into that a bit more. Why is that automation so critical? What are the real costly consequences when a large enterprise tries to tackle this migration manually?
Well, the primary consequences are delay and often outright failure. Manual migration is just incredibly time-consuming. We see projects stretching well beyond a year for large organizations, and the reliance on humans to manually translate complex formulas.
Ugh.
It introduces a really high risk of error. That compromises accuracy right out of the gate and can destroy user trust before the new platform even properly launches.
That trust gap is killer.
It is. And inevitably, these manual projects consistently blow past their initial budget estimates due to unforeseen complexity and scope creep.
You mentioned a 70% reduction in timeline earlier using automation. That sounds almost too good to be true sometimes. What's the typical barrier you see that stops companies getting anywhere near that kind of speed manually?
It's the complexity multiplied by sheer volume. Think about it. A single important legacy report might have dozens of complex queries, maybe several intricate calculated metrics baked in. Now, manually, someone has to understand, document, and then rebuild all of that, sometimes pixel by pixel, in the new tool. Multiply that effort across hundreds or even thousands of reports. The manual effort just becomes this massive bottleneck that completely collapses the project timeline. Our automation cuts right through that.
Okay, so if the manual approach leads to delays and these significant cost overruns, what do the numbers look like using your automated accelerators? How does it contrast?
The contrast is significant, and it's measurable. Our automated solutions consistently achieve that 70% reduction in the migration timeline, yes. And maybe even more importantly, that translates to roughly 60% lower consulting costs or internal resource costs.
60% lower
Yeah.
costs.
And just to put a number on the effort saved,
Hmm.
we've seen our automation eliminate approximately 2,160 hours of manual effort per large project.
Wow. Over 2,000 hours of expert time saved. That's a massive competitive boost right there, just in terms of opportunity cost. And the accuracy piece, that trust gap you mentioned, does automation eliminate that?
Yes, fundamentally. Because our automated process guarantees zero data loss and, crucially, functionally identical report outputs compared to the legacy versions. By ensuring that high level of accuracy right from the start, we eliminate that damaging trust gap. And what we see then is much higher user adoption rates, much faster realization of the platform's actual potential. Hashtag tag outro.
So, to sort of wrap up our deep dive today, it seems clear that BI modernization is far more than just a technical upgrade. It's really a necessary strategic move, not just to survive, but actually to thrive in today's highly competitive, real-time, data-driven world.
Absolutely. And the long-term benefit goes beyond just the initial migration. It comes from accelerating the adoption of the new platform, ensuring data consistency across the board, and building those crucial governance frameworks and optimized data models right from day one. This approach guarantees long-term scalability and ensures sustained data integrity for years to come.
Okay, let's end with maybe a provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. If a typical manual enterprise migration takes, say, 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer, and an automated migration takes closer to 4 to 8 weeks, how many critical market changes happen in that difference? How many missed competitive opportunities tick by? The real question today probably isn't if you should modernize, but really, how quickly can you actually move to execution?
And if you are looking to make that shift quickly, and just as importantly, accurately, remember the power of automation that we at Canarica utilize. We leverage it specifically to help guarantee your success in making the digital shift.